Sometimes when we go off, we can get an additional 30 minutes because this, we are on, right? This goes to YouTube. Right? So it's an hour on YouTube. So back to you, Brother Talut. In terms of cause and effect, and what Brother Jabril just described goes to the political front. And I think you agree with me that that goes to the political front. So therefore the question becomes a redundant question that we've talked about on this show since we've been doing this show, and that is these politicians in our communities, using Malcolm X word, selling us out. So are we going to, how are we going to deal with that? Brother Talut, then Baruti, let's come on around the table.
Actually, I'm promoting the revolution. I'm saying down with the whole political system. It's an antiquated system. It's a Trump era system. It's been handicapping our people for decades, if not centuries. You know, it's the same old thing. It doesn't matter if a black politician, a white politician, it doesn't matter. Once they get into the seat of power, they begin to operate like the politicians operated during the turn of the century. Okay, and it's all about them. They want to build careers out of the political offices that they have. Yeah, and they want to retire comfortably. Okay, they don't give a damn about their own people. They don't give a damn about the community. They don't give a damn about whether we advance as a people or not. They make absolutely zero contribution to the community. Not one of them have done anything over the decades to advance the cause of their people. So what do we need them for?
Those are the people that you gotta hold accountable. You know what I mean? Like, because those are supposed to be the leaders of the village. You know what I mean? Like, until you start holding those people accountable, you can't hold the village accountable. Because these are the elected leaders. If you are intelligent enough to understand the rhetoric that they're using to get into the positions, then now it's your responsibility to put them in check when they ain't doing their job. To come back and break it down enough to the citizens to say, this person is not doing his job, now we need to get them in check. But until we just keep, this ain't got us nowhere. I've seen this for the 29 years I've been on this planet. And it ain't got me no further. What we gotta do is this. We gotta make something happen. We gotta do something. But until you just yapping about it, it's getting us nowhere.
Okay, Brother Baruti, he used the word supposed to be. Those are the people who are supposed to be doing something and we're not doing and not being responsible. That is my interpretation of that particular word, supposed to be. And sounds like I hear him calling for action.
Yes, sir.
Respond, please.
You know, most politicians that I know are crooked as hell. They belong in jail, not in the Senate.
I agree. I agree.
Most of them.
Yes.
They're owned by corporate interests. Most of them. They just appointed a new FCC chairman who was actually a lobbyist for the media. And now the fox is in charge of the hen house. But that's the kind of thing you find in politics. When Bill Clinton was in office for 8 years, at $500,000 a year, he got $4 million. When Hillary Clinton ran against Obama, they were worth $106 million. How the hell you get $106 million when you only been out of office 8 years?
Where the money come from?
Where the money come from? Except it's coming underneath the table, and your hands as greasy as lard. So somebody's paying you, and it's not the people. All politicians operate like that. Steve Cohen is no different.
That's right.
He's nothing but a high-paid politician, and even though he is in a black district, he is representing Jewish people who have financial interest in the black district. He's not representing black people, even though we're the majority in that district. And that's the same thing with all of our politicians. I agree that we should take them and prosecute them and put them in jail for a long time. The other thing I think we should do is they should have a term limit.
Yes.
You only have one
term
time.
limit.
You only have one time to mess with
Screw up, right?
And after that is over.
And I want to go to Christian now. Christian, recommend a course of action.
I think absolutely holding our politicians accountable is the way to go. I think people need to be educated about who their leaders are and what actions they're actually taking in communities. A lot of our people, the majority of us, don't know who our politicians are, don't know who our representatives are in our district. We don't write them, they don't hear from us. And you see the same phenomenon happen with our politicians in the black community as you do with even customer service in the black community. Why is it so bad? Because nobody ever reports it.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing with our politicians. If nobody, they know when nobody's watching. But the thing about the system that you were talking about, Brother Salute, the antiquated system, you're right. It's the culture of the system, and it transforms the people that go in. Everybody doesn't go in slimy. I think a good majority of them go in absolutely hopeful that they're going to, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, hoping that they're going to be able to change their community. And when they get in there, they go, oh, this is a different game. This isn't the game I thought it was. The opportunities are not there for them to do that. When you get in there and you start talking about drastic change, honey, they get you out quickly. And then they will mess your name up on the way out the door, getting you out of the door. There are repercussions for that. You know, so if we're going to promote these kinds of things, especially holding people accountable, we got to really support these politicians. And when people come against them, that are saying things that are false, when they're trying to stand up, we got to be the ones going, no, make the media cover it with the truth. Ambush them, tell them, no, this is not what happened. We know what happened, and support them. And if we support the politicians, we can make more noise than these corporate interests because they want to stay behind the wall. They want to stay hidden. Yeah. But if we make enough noise, then we can make a change.
And you said something important that no one's paying attention. Brother Paul, how about in terms of holding politicians accountable? How about placing, Brother Baruti said, Cohen he's representing Jews. And African American politicians should represent African Americans. When we vote them in, should we demand that they represent black people? What are you going to do for black people? Brother Paul?
Well, number one, we have to educate our people and show them that we are the majority. So what we say goes, if we galvanize together as a people, we can make some changes. Now, there are hidden things that go behind closed doors in politics. And we have to recognize that there are repercussions that the politicians will have to deal with if we don't support them to keep them in there. I mean, but our people don't know who they are, like the sister said. They don't know what's promised in a sense of helping the community out. And then when something is brought to the community as relief, we don't know that it came nor where it went to hold the politician in office accountable for what they're doing with the money. I mean, I like to look at nature for the answer, because nature is the absolute truth. You know, this system is set up to help species of animals that are going extinct, extinct. And they call them endangered species. Yeah. But when you look at what they're doing to our community and how they're attacking us and how we're killing one another, we're going to be extinct eventually. But they won't give us the same respect as they give a common animal. We should be considered endangered species. And anybody that does anything to take land, finances, our people away from us, they should be prosecuted. They should be prosecuted. We should have the same respect as an endangered species, because that's what we're going through. And we cannot think and accept that this system is going to work. We can't. We got to have our own system, our own village, where we are self-sufficient, and then when we demand something, we're respected. And they understand that we have the power, because we don't need them for nothing.
Can I jump in there?
You can. And
then
then
I just want
Brother
to
Jabril.
pick back up on what you were saying. I think one real issue with the black community is understanding what makes a community thrive. Like, the majority of our folks in our community don't know that when a liquor store goes up, that means your property values are going down. They don't know that nail shops aren't good for their community. They don't know that a new little strip mall, when there are already buildings there that are vacant, isn't good. So those kinds of things, when we start understanding how to get revenue in our community, how to attract people, how to attract business, and study these communities that are using us right now. Study them. Study how they work. Study what works for them, what businesses respond to. Because when we do that with our village and we have a functioning village, people will start to catch on. We've done it before. You've heard of Black Wall Street. We all know that this can happen. But we gotta be focused on not just shutting everybody else out. Study them. They've been studying us. Study what they're doing. Learn their systems and use it to our advantage.
Of course.
Jabril.
No doubt. You know, I'm gonna take a page out of Thomas Jefferson philosophy and Malcolm X philosophy.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson said it should be a revolution every 20 years. And he also said that taxation without representation is tyranny. Malcolm also said that, you know, there's a thing called a ballot. You can use that ballot until the ballot is deemed insignificant. Then you have to use the bullet.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that we in a situation now where I can't say that the people that you're talking about, Brother Darius, whether or not they are neglecting us, because this is the philosophy of the present situation, the present climate within the political arena. So if they're doing it intentionally, being what they've done, they have misrepresented us. So in other words, we as a group of people, and I mean we're African people, you know, displaced over here in the Western world, then we don't have no representation. We have grounds for revolution if we don't have representation.
Absolutely.
You know, taxation, they charge us taxes, and they spend it on Sears Tower, Overton Square, the bridge over here, back here Broad Avenue, Elvis Presley Boulevard, Elvis Presley Foundation. Elvis Presley don't need no money. You know what I'm saying? But the fact remains that if these people don't represent us, then who they represent? And if they don't represent us, then we are people who pay taxes without representation. For tyranny. Necessary.
Brother Talut, I want to see if I can join two things. Two questions together, and that is this question of respect and how it is brought about, how it is garnered and put on display. And these panel discussions that we've now initiated, are those two things, especially the panel discussion, going to be a platform for education and planning and strategizing going forward? Talk to us about that, and then you, brother.
Yeah, we've done quite a few
Yes.
discussions on our social ills throughout the months here. And actually, you can go on the website there and get a complete education on what our problems are and how we should go by solving them. You know, but you know, respect is something that has to be built. Okay, it's a building block scenario. It's one piece at a time, over time. Okay, and you eventually end up being a respectable people or a respectable man or woman. It's not instant. In other words, it's a process in that also. So my thing is, if we're going to be respected as men, number one, okay, we're going to have to do certain things that would affect our families and our women folks, and, you know, our families, our children, and our women folks, you know. And that's going to have to be simple. I mean, simply showing that we are concerned, we want to do something about our conditions. We as men want to be the leaders of our community. We don't want the Caucasian guy to be the leader of our community. We have different cultures. He can't come in our community and solve our problems. The only thing we can do is the problems in the community of violence or crime or anything like that, we call the police. We call the police come after the effect, after the effect. And then they take a report and take it downtown.
And
Nothing is solved.
And that's pretty much it. The due diligence of coming out, putting the yellow rope up, and that's pretty much it.
That's it.
I have some things to say about what it takes to bring this about. I won't do it right here, right now, for the sake of time. I want to go to you, Darius. You're smiling. You like what I just said.
Yeah, I wanted to hear it. I wanted to pull
I sound like a true elder.
Right, I wanted to hear it. You know, let me hear it. Cause like I was. Go ahead.
You go ahead. But we give room to the younger people. We want to see more of you and hear from more of you. We're not the type to get up there and stay up there for a lifetime. You walking on a stick, you can't hardly move. lifting you up, and you still trying to run something. Come on, Darius.
Well,
Come on. Then, when you finish, I'll talk about
it, to get the young people involved, you just got to do exactly what y'all doing. Number one, just get them involved.
Yes.
You know, to reach out to them. I love everything that you brothers are saying today. There's a lot of these conversations that are still held in private quarters, and therefore the masses don't get the opportunity to hear these things. We are being out-marketed.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
And which is insane because we're right next to each other, and word of mouth is the most powerful form of marketing. But when we don't speak to each other, we don't share information with each other, this basically how this stuff kind of goes down. I just want to hear what you think.
Okay. A lot of the problems within the problem that we face within our group, oftentimes it boils down to our unwillingness to give of ourselves, our unwillingness to be selfless. It is about our egos, and there are many in this group who want to always be in charge of something even though they're not qualified. And this is what breaks the group down. We've had so many groups to flare up in this city right here. I mean, so many we can't even count them. And they'll meet for a while, and because the idea is not their idea, they won't support the idea. Right. And then they'll drop out. No reason. No reason for, brother, I can't be there, or I totally disagree, and I want to offer this alternative. But then another group will pop up over here somewhere. But a couple of things, when you study all of the great leaders, even though they had problems and flaws, and if you read J. Rogers, you can see part of the problem. But you will see that you have to know your terrain, you have to know your people, and then you have to be dedicated and sincere. And that sometimes you have to sacrifice. I may be willing to forego some of my own petty jealousies.
You're talking about a revolutionary, aren't you, brother?
Am I?
I think so.
I had no idea. The spirit was moving within me.
That's right. I
That sounded like it was real.
I understand, brother.
So, and these are some of the things that are required to get a job done, to bring this revolution, this rebellion, this unity, to make the situation better for our people. Sometimes we're going to have to make some hard choices, because if you run your ass out there and kill somebody, you run your ass out there and kill my sister, my son, my daughter, and your ass is wrong, I don't care. I don't care. You got to go. You are destroying the community. So we have to do things that does not destroy the community. And it starts within self.
Of course.
That I've got to go out here today, and as a warrior, I've got to make some sacrifices for the benefit of my people and my family.
No doubt.
Those are some of the things that I think that help us a long way. A lot of people tell me, well, brother, we really don't know what you think. Well, and that's true, because usually I'm moderating or moving the thing along and asking questions. But these are some of the things that I think about what we have to do relative to today's conversation and the problems that we face.
Sure.
Brother Baruti, I think you're next.
Yes, sir. You know, we were talking about politicians. In America, there's a shadow government that actually controls the seats of power.
Yes.
Obama sits in the seat of power, but he ain't got no power. Because when he came in campaigning, he said he was going to close Guantanamo.
Yeah.
He was going to end the war.
Yes.
Guantanamo's still open, and we still fighting.
Right, right.
So
And that's back to your point.
He ain't got no power. And if you try to operate like you got some power, like Cynthia McKinney did down in Georgia, then they'll come against you and get you out of power, like the sister said. So, you know, this government, we vote for politicians to go into office, but they're controlled by the ones who really hold that office, because they don't hold nothing but a seat with no power. Now, when you look at power, our people get power, and you talking about respect.
Yes.
How do you get respect? You know, they don't want North Korea to have nuclear weapons, but America ain't gonna attack them either because they got some.
They got some power. Right.
They ain't
Power.
coming against China.
You need to get
Because
some.
China got what you got.
Right.
You blow them up, they can blow you up 10 times. Look.
Right.
They don't want Iran to have no power.
That's right.
Because if Iran gets power, then Israel power will be neutralized.
Okay.
Power, it has to be met with power.
That's right.
Okay.
In Black America, the power we have is our unity. If we
Yes.
ever come together,
Unity. Unity.
ever come together,
Sure.
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if we ever come together in unity, that's more powerful than an atomic bomb.
Yes.
Our unity.
That's so
Yeah, because our unity.
Our
Yeah.
unity.
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey
Because
said
the
the same
brother-
thing.
when you got $1.3 trillion going through the black community,
Come on now.
and
Yeah.
you consider the 9th wealthiest country on earth,
So,
more than Canada, which is
Yeah.
our next door neighbor.
right. So with that kind of money harnessed, we can buy all the power we want.
All
Oh.
Which cause some
the
shots.
Jews are the minority in this country, but look
Yeah.
how much power they get.
And it's
Right.
knowing
The-
how to buy into that politics as
Yeah.
well. Look at the things that are on the table, even when you're talking about the gun issue.
Yes.
The first thing people want to say is take the guns out the street. They don't mean for everybody. They mean for the black
Right.
community.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Because that's power.
That's your point.
That was the first gun.
Your point. Right.
Yes.
Right. Now, Mahatma Gandhi in India, East India, they simply sat down. Just sat down. Okay. We just sit down. Dr. King had a strong point and he got assassinated right after that. Power. Brother Paul, enlighten us. Come on with it.
Man, it's a lot of good information, man.
I
I'm
feel
just
your
I'm
I feel
torn.
your passion.
Well,
Let it out.
I'm torn because, you know.
We're
I
gonna
know
take
it-
8 more minutes.
I know it calls the solution is a revolution. I mean, we have to have a revolution mentally. We have to have a revolution spiritually.
Yes.
They got us on that opiate.
Yes.
We don't know it.
Opiate.
Yeah, that opiate, that religion.
Yes.
And then they got us physically because we out here eating.
Crap.
Yeah, crap is the best word. You know, we going to McDonald's, we going to all these fast food restaurants, not realizing that in nature, when you take something in that's good with nutrients in it, and you process it in your body, it comes out as waste. But when they take out good food and process it in a warehouse and it comes out, they got us believing it's processed food. It's waste. Anything that doesn't have nutritional value is not food. So we're walking around here like walking zombies. We dehydrated, and you know when you're dehydrated on the desert, you hallucinate. So we're walking around here hallucinating, thinking these people are in our favor,
Right.
and they're not.
Okay.
Let's be real. And we
What
gotta become holy again, and we gotta attack them from the spiritual, mental, and physical aspect, and that's a lot of work. We
Lot of
gotta
work.
start off with the kids and start them off right, and ask any willing adult, I got this from this brother here, Brother Jabril. It's not for the people who need it, it's for the people who want it. So any willing adult with an open mind can recognize that we need to make a change and it needs to be a revolution.
Okay. Yeah, let's take 5 more minutes. A couple of things. Supply and demand. You see a lot of our people riding around on these scooters too. Have you noticed that? And that's a demand for that because we're getting sicker due to our diets and lack of discipline. And so people are
Selling
manufacturing
us them
these scooters, and we're riding around on these scooters.
dialysis
And that's just-
companies in our
Oh
neighborhood
my
like
God,
that.
going out everywhere.
yeah.
Dialysis
And I thought about something else too.
Dr.
Is
Amos
that-
Wilson called the kidney dialysis machine the nigger machine.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
90% of the people who own the kidney dialysis machine are black.
Yeah.
So
And they push their dialysis on you early.
Early.
Of course,
As early as they
but
can.
It's
And
a
insist on
process
the
to get
pills.
there. You know, you got to go through diabetes and a whole bunch of other stuff to get there to the dialysis machine.
You gotta
And
go
it's
through the
based
Coca-Cola
on
soda
diet.
and the
Diet.
You know, most
Yeah.
of the things
The
that
food
hinder the process of our growth as spiritual beings are hindered by processed foods. Just like the brother say, we dehydrated, walking around hallucinating, don't even know it.
You know, the Center for Disease Control says that 1 out of every 2 African American child will be diagnosed with type 2 adult diabetes
That's so true.
by the time 2020 rolls.
Think about it.
Yeah.
That's
So
my
that,
children.
that's
So
a
we're
lot
in
of
the
All
tech.
based on
The
that.
opiates,
that's
that's
a lot-
sugar and processed food. Yeah.
Sugar.
That's a lot of foresight. That's a lot of foresight. But I think another thing that we're going to have to do, I've seen this too in meetings and gatherings among us, that if someone disagrees with us, we get mad. We get so mad. We want to either fight or don't come back to the
comes
meeting.
from intellectual immaturity.
Absolutely.
That's all it
But
is.
these issues are going to have to be addressed if we are going to
Sure, we have
develop
to.
some
Yeah.
some
Gotta
intellectual
walk right through it.
maturity.
Walk right through it.
Those kind of issues that
And we
we're gonna
will
have to
develop.
address.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah, look, it's one thing we're gonna always have to keep in our minds, you know, and like you said, the animal world, it gives us all kinds of natural
Example.
ways of looking
Ways.
at things and also natural ways of protecting ourselves.
Sure.
There's one thing that dolphin does in the ocean when it's time to feed. He finds this big school of fish, and what he does, he cuts some out and make them into a ball and tie them down. Then they can all feed quite easily. This is what's happening to our people by other people. See, everybody wants them a cut out of the 43 million. See? So they do everything they can to these 43 million, get them a cut out of it. Just like you said, 50% of our people gonna be on dialysis. Those doctors will cut them a little piece out of it. Then so many are gonna die. Those undertakers and doctors will cut them a piece out over there. And so many in prison, they cut them a piece. So everybody, every other ethnic group is cutting a piece out of the black community. And we have to stop that. And my main idea is this. We got to raise up over our community. Okay, we have to, there's going to have to be some men that climb up on top of the people and able to look out over the people and protect them. Some of us going to work in the system and work, you know, within them boundaries and on the ground, so to speak. But some of us got to be in the air.
Yeah.
Okay,
You sound,
we got to have an air force.
Brother, you sound like a true strategist and a
That's the
general.
same method the Klan used. They said that they weren't going to be with robes anymore. They are in the system.
Yeah,
they
they're
are
in
our
the air.
politicians.
Yeah. We've got two. We're gonna take 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Go ahead, then.
It's
To take a couple of minutes. Close us out.
Brother,
Christian, close us out.
You
After
know-
Jabril.
you know, I know you a youth. I've been knowing you for a while. See, that message should, when that message goes to them young boys out there, when you're in conversation with them and in dialogue with them, let them know that when you harm yourself and you shooting yourself, that you die, all your organs are being harvested and put on the international organ list.
Yeah.
They're making money. You know, they get your spleen and they charge you $200,000 for it. They get your heart and they charge $150,000. They get your kidney. Because these boys don't do nothing but smoke weed and drink a little Hennessy and shoot basketball. So they're in health. They're healthy young boys. You see what I'm saying? But if they can knock them off at 19 and 21 and 22, this kind of thing, and harvest your organ. See, we're in a self-defeating kind of circumstance. But you know, if that message can get to the youth, because I talk to grade school children most of the time, but I don't get a chance to talk to a lot of teenagers and the young adults. I don't get a chance to talk to them unless I'm in a forum some kind of way. And I think we're going to have to probably put some forums together where we can, you know, get to that youth age bracket from 16 to 21. But I know you out there and involved, you know. So inform them that is a reality here in the world.
The issue with really reaching out to my peers is it's all a popularity race. You know what I mean? Like people gotta see that you gotta back it. You gotta see that they gotta see that you somebody to listen to before they listen to you. So somebody they respect had to say listen to this person before that person is listened to. I don't have the answers. You know what I mean? I haven't even figured out how to reach to my closest friends. You know, this topic today about homicide is very close to me because from 7th grade all the way up to now, I've had at least one person I know be killed every year. Killed. Now, I've had a lot of people die, but I had a lot of people just be killed every year since 7th grade.
We're gonna have to address
It's a lot of issues, but just like I don't know how to even begin to attack it. Now there was structure there was a foundation that was created before we started, from the Black Panther Party to our speakers, our leaders. I just don't know how do we reclaim that?
Okay.
How do we empower the lost to know that we can do it? I was talking to a brother that ain't even a brother yesterday, and I consider him a friend, and he's moved thousands of people over a T-shirt, and I was like, how do we use it? And he said, I don't know. If you figure it out, tell me.
Let's take a couple more minutes. Christian,
What's that?
close this out.
I think the larger issue is we just need to all focus on doing our part and figuring out a way to make all of this come together. I think if we can start with just supporting the Marcus Garvey Institute, telling people about it, getting their kids in, getting people to donate to that, volunteering our time when we can, that already starts to set the groundwork. If children know who they are, if they know that they are something to be proud of, if they know what their people have accomplished in the past, then the foolishness that they teach us about ourselves won't have a chance to sink in with them. They'll know how to recognize that when it comes, that they'll have that discernment. The kids that are not armed with those tools, they get conditioned. The public education system is set up for black kids to lose self-confidence.
That's so true.
It is. It's to strip them from self-confidence. If we can avert that, if we can fight against that, I think we will.
Okay. We got that.